everybody. Oh, another night. Oh, here's my buddy. This little girl, she was once abused and totally neglected, and I spoil her rotten now, and she is like my little shadow now. So, kitty weedy, I love you, but I don't think you can tell them much, can you? Okay. Anyway, guys, hope you had a good night or a good day today, and I hope you're having a good night. Uh, Today was one of those days, you know what I'm talking about, where wasn't a bad day, wasn't a great day, it was just like a neutral kind of day, you know what I mean? Only good part of it is my daughter and I went shopping again, went to the grocery store, took the kids, I enjoyed that part thoroughly. But, the rest of the day is one of those days, where you just sort of, I don't know, not a good mood, not a bad mood. You just kind of there today. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, you do. Well, anyway, tonight I'm going to talk about a subject that I think is really important. Uh, I watched a video today about it was a young girl, and she was crying her eyes out because the guy that she had been dating was so in love with um, broke up with her, and said she felt completely used and horrible. Well, this subject is going to be about sex without a commitment, whether it be marriage or a true commitment to live together and spend the rest of your life together. Now, this video is only for women, people who are looking for a real relationship. Those of you out there who like sleeping around and it doesn't bother you, well, this video just isn't for you. So, you know, I, this is such a heavy subject in so many ways. I look at the world now and I see so many young girls, oh my gosh, 15, 16, 17-year-old girls pregnant, or with children already. And I see so much heartache around, so much heartbreak of girls who feel just devastated because they were used. Well, guys, you have nobody to blame but yourself. I am not a saint. I've made a mistake in my life, a time or two. But now I am much wiser, and hopefully you'll become wiser long before my age if you watch this video. We as women need to take back. We need to take back uh, our strength and our powers as a woman, and we need to teach men to respect us. Okay, it's up to us, guys. Now, you girls out there and you women out there who, we've all been there. You thought somebody was great. You thought they loved you, and that was it. And life was going to be grand. And the next thing you know, he's out of there. Well, you know what, guys? There was an old saying that's old as the hills, where why buy the milk if you can get the cow for free? Well, it may sound old-fashioned, but you've got to be realistic about this. Look at the state of the world. I mean, seriously, people, women are being used right and left. Um, and I think the reason that this upsets me so much is, you know, when we had the 60s and 70s fighting for women's rights, it was to have equality in the workplace, equal pay, be able to work in jobs that were only men's jobs, and not get sexual harassment on the job, that sort of thing. Somehow, though, it turned into this whole freedom, sexual freedom thing. And I don't think that was the greatest thing in the world, because I personally wouldn't want to have the reputation that men tend to have, which is, oh yeah, they'll love them and leave them. I don't, of course there are women out there who do that, but this video is geared towards women and what they've been through. And if men watch it and you can kind of relate to it because you've had it to happen to you, with a woman, let's face it, women use men too for various reasons, to get money, to get things, whatever, to get a husband, whatever reasons they have. But this is mainly for women. Um, you need to stop and realize that if young or older, if a guy pressures you to have sex, before you have a solid commitment like marriage, if you're looking for marriage in your life, or a commitment of, you know, living together for the rest of your life. You don't have to get married to live with somebody the rest of your life if you truly love each other and want that with each other. Um, and I'm not talking about you date somebody and then a month later, oh honey, I love you, you're so beautiful, you're the most wonderful woman I've ever known. And then he says move in, and you move in, and before you know it, a few months later, it's over. Okay, that's not a commitment. I'm talking the kind where you really date, you get to know one another, you truly fall in love, and you make the decision to either get married or make the commitment to be together for life. Without that, I'm sorry, ladies, but it's your fault. Girls and women, it's your fault if a man uses you. If you go out with a man and he, you know, gives you the whole I love you and the whole, we all know what these guys do, okay? We know what men do when they want sex. They will tell you anything, or give you whatever, you know. They'll buy you things or whatever to get that sex. When reality, they're not thinking of it in terms of, you know, I want to be with this woman forever. And we as women, it's a scientific fact that when a woman has sex with a man, she releases chemicals that bond her to him. You know, there's this bond. I guess maybe that was nature's way of making sure that two people got together and reproduced. I don't know. But men don't. They're like, they could have a different woman every night and it wouldn't matter to the majority. I'm not going to say all, because there are good men out there who aren't that way, but the majority. I mean, how many of you out there have gone out with a guy and you knew that if you offered him sex on that first date, would he turn it down? How many would do you know would say, "Oh, no, gosh, no, I can't do that." Yeah, right. I don't know anybody that could say that. But it's up to you. Do you want to feel used? Do you want to feel like you were just his passing fling for a little while? Or do you really want a real relationship? Because if you're looking for a real relationship, you're going to have to pull in those reins. You're going to have to say, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking, you know, you have to lay it on the line right from the beginning. Once you guys get to know each other, you need to let him know you are looking for a real relationship. If he runs from that as soon as you tell him that, then you got your answer on what kind of guy you were with. You want a guy who thinks like you do. If you're all looking for that marriage or that permanent commitment to be with one person forever, you need to put that up front. And I don't know what more you could want as an answer. If that person disappears after you make it clear you're looking for a relationship, not just playtime and fun time, what more do you need than that person takes off? I mean, seriously, you can't ask for a better answer of what you had there. Um, if a guy makes you feel like, you know, unless you give him sex, you know, the old, oh, if you love me, prove it to me routine. Oh my God, how pathetic is that one? How old is that one? But yet it's still used. If a guy puts you in that position to where he's telling you, you got to prove it to me that you love me and only me by having sex with me, you don't have a man, you don't have a mature human being who's looking for a relationship. You have a jerk who just wants sex. And that's how he does it. You know, ladies, you got to be a lot smarter than these men out there. Men are pretty damn smart when it comes to this. They can sense when a woman is wanting a relationship. They can sense when a woman is wanting love and the whole bit. And they play on that. They play it like a fine-tuned piano, you know? They know which key, which note to hit in order to get you to do what they want. And that's by telling you how much they love you and oh this and oh that, and give you everything. They tell you everything you want to hear so that you give in. Well, you you can't tell me, and you can't tell me that you don't know when that's happening. Don't give me that, oh well, you know, he told me he loved me and I really believed him. No, I'm sorry. We know as women when a man is serious about a real relationship. If you are looking for a marriage or a commitment for life, and you're with a man and you tell him that and he sticks around and he's not pushing you to have sex and he stays there for the long haul, then you know you've got somebody who truly loves you and who truly wants a relationship with you. And that's what you're looking for. So that's what you go after. You don't go for the guys who are making you feel like, oh my gosh, you're not going to have sex with me, so then I know you don't love me. I'll go get it somewhere else. Well, you know what? Let him go get it somewhere else. Because you know what? There are women out there who can give that stuff. They charge for it. Those prostitutes and things, they charge for it. Let him go get it. If all he wants is sex, there's lots of people out there to just give him sex. And you should consider yourself blessed that when you told this guy, no, there's not going to be any sex, I'm waiting till I have a commitment to where I know that you truly love and care about me and want to take care of me and love me emotionally, physically, every way. Um, if he doesn't stick around, you know your answer. If he does, you are very fortunate. And that's what you want. So you have to stop and think of the consequences as well. Um, Obviously, you know, the worry of getting pregnant depending on your age and what have you, but and also the issue of catching an STD, that's a big issue now. You know, there's some serious stuff out there, as we all know. And a man who's willing to just push you for sex, and a man who's especially willing to push you for sex and doesn't use protection, well, we know what that's all about. He's a very selfish SOB who doesn't give a damn about you. Who knows how many women he's been with before you. And guys, if you think I'm just saying all this and you know, it's not what I really believe, well, let me be honest with you. The last man I was with was in 2006. It is 2012, guys. Okay? I made a decision. Never again. Never again in my life will I be with a man sexually until I know that we are going to be together forever. I don't know if I'm ever going to get married again because I have been married twice and it's kind of a issue for me. But I do know that I want one guy to spend the rest of my life with, to share our lives together. But I will never do that again. I will never, ever be with a man until I know we are going to be together. And it won't happen until we are together, living in the same household. And if a man can't take that, then he's not what I want, and he doesn't want the same things that I want. And that's how you need to view it, ladies. You need to take it back. You need to stop this. You young girls, all the way up to however old, you need to stop letting men think that they've got that kind of power over you. We need to take that power back. You know, the sexual revolution has basically backfired because what it did, yeah, women are, you know, when they were fighting for freedom and the, you know, for everything else, well, this one kind of backfired because now men look at it like, oh yeah, women, well, they no longer are tied by any binds of anything. They can do whatever they want. Well, at the same time that you're doing whatever you want, you're letting him know that he can do whatever he wants with you, and it has backfired. I mean, think back to the days when they had chaperones. You know, when women would go on dates and they'd have chaperones, you know, young girls and what have you. There was a reason for that. That reason was that they knew, you know, the wiser generation knew when these two are alone together, things get heated up and it could go in the, you know, in that direction real fast. So they had the chaperones. Well, no, I'm not saying let's go back to chaperones, but we can have the chaperone mentality for our own body, our own selves. Chaperone ourselves. Stop and look in the mirror and say, do you really want to wake up and know that this guy just used you for sex? Do you want to get a reputation of people thinking, oh yeah, she's easy. Go out with her, buy her flowers and dinner, and she's yours. No, ladies. If you want a real relationship, you need to get serious about the fact that if he pushes you for sex, if he's, you know, making you feel like you've got to do it, and you're telling him, no, I want to wait until I have a commitment, whether it be marriage or lifetime partner, if he keeps making you feel bad about that, well, you've got your answer to let him go. Let him go. Because a man who is going to truly respect you and love you, as old fashioned as you may think it sounds, he is not going to push you. He is going to realize that you want a real relationship, and if he wants the same thing, it's not going to bother him to wait. It's not going to bother him to see that, you know, you two are working on a real relationship and you're going to end up together for life. That will not make him go away. Now, the guy who just wants to use you for sex, it will make him go away. He will tell you, he'll try to con you with that whole thing of, well, if you won't give it to me, somebody else, well, then let him go get it from somebody else. But it's time to start showing men that no, I am not just a piece of meat you can use whenever you feel like it. I am not something that you can just go shopping for and say, oh, I like her, I think I'll take her. I'll eventually get her into bed. No, ladies, you need to start getting your self-pride back, your self-esteem. You need to start feeling proud of who you are. I have seen so many videos of girls and women crying and brokenhearted because this guy just dumped them after they had sex. Or after they had sex, you hear the ever famous, well, he didn't call me the next day. He didn't call me again. Well, of course not. Like the saying goes, if you can get the milk for free, why buy the cow? I mean, I'm sorry, but it's a fact. It's true. You women out there who think that you're going to get a man to love you by having sex with him, that's all wrong. That's totally wrong. All you're doing is showing him, I'm giving you what you want. Oh well, with no commitment, with no whatever. And by commitment, I mean that you decide to get married, and at least wait until the engagement. Um, if possible, wait until the engage, at least till you're engaged. And it may sound old fashioned, but what is so terrible about waiting until you're married? What is so, I'd like to know what the deal is. Is it that you feel that unless you give him sex, even if you have an engagement ring on your finger, is it that you feel that unless you have sex with him, you're going to lose him? Because if that's the case, then you're with the wrong guy. Then you've got a very insecure or relationship already. And it may sound old fashioned, but when you think about it, it's true. If you are so scared you're going to lose this guy because you're not having sex with him before you have a marriage, or you've moved in together and you have really made a commitment, not just date for a month and say let's move in together, but really made a lifetime commitment, um, you've got the wrong guy already. You've already got a problem, whether you see it or not. You already have a big problem. You're worried about losing this man because you don't give him sex. You already have a problem. So you need to think about that. You need to stop and think about what do you really want in life? If you're looking for that relationship, that permanent relationship, and I'm going to say this, I wish that no girls would ever get seriously involved with a man, at least till they're after 25, at least closer to 30, I would say, because we go through changes. What you liked in your teen years, you find in your 20 years, I don't like that so much. Then when you get out of your 20-year stage, 20 somethings, you say, wow, I can't believe I liked that when I was 22, 23. And then you reach 30 and you're pretty much settling into who and what you're going to be. Not always, of course. I'm not saying for everybody. Let's not get, too detailed and technical. But on the whole, um, by the time you're in your 30s, you're pretty much realizing who you are and what you want out of life. And so I say, try to hold off on a serious, serious commitment until you're close to 30. And I mean that, because look at how many people have gotten married young and then divorced. I got married at 18 and was divorced 3 years later. I got married a second time, 5 years after the divorce. I got married a second time. We were married 22 years, but I was a fool back then. This man hit me. He hurt me severely. And then he became a drug addict, and that's what ended the marriage. Sadly, it took that. Him becoming a drug addict and just pretty much ruining our lives. And I was not going to live with drugs in my life, in my children's lives, so that was it. I stayed with this man for a few years there, almost 6, after he started his drugs, trying to help him with his addiction and go through rehabilitation and all that. It didn't work, so I ended it. But I'll tell you what, now, from all my experience, I know now what my mother said was true. If a man thinks he can use you, he doesn't value you. Okay? It's very simple. He does not value you. I had one of my viewers, write a comment below um, that somebody that she was dating and seeing, she wanted to wait. He didn't want to wait, so he disappeared. That was it. He was gone. Well, she should consider that a blessing. Um, I don't understand what happened to women, and I mean this. What the hell happened to women that we feel that giving sex is proving that we're how can I put it? That, the feminist movement. How is it that we got to where we felt that giving sex freely made us any stronger, better, or whatever of a human being? I don't understand that. I don't know where that came from, because that's not true. That is far the furthest thing from the truth. What it really does is it still pretty much keeps us. You see these these feminist women. Oh yeah, I can go to work and do anything and earn the pay and do this and that. And then they go out with these guys who use them right and left. And it's like they're still stuck back in a time, where those 60s and 70s when uh, women were trying to prove they could be and do anything. Well, I personally, I don't want it to be that all that fight was for to prove that you could be a whore just like a man. And I hate to say that, but I'm going to be honest with it. A man he can sleep with woman after woman after woman, and it means nothing. A whore, is like a whore. And I'm sorry, but that's a fact. And I don't think that's anything to aspire to as a woman, to say, hey, I can do what men do. The only difference is that, number one, if a woman gets pregnant, she's the one who has to carry that child, give birth to that child, um, raise that child, or give it up for adoption. Or if she goes the route of abortion, getting an abortion and then dealing with that pain, uh, she's the one who has to go through all this hell. These guys can just take off, and the worst that can happen to them is, hey, you have to pay child support while they go off to live another life. So there's a lot of consequences, involved for the woman in terms of just having sex. And you ladies and girls out there, how many times have you gone to bed with a man and you woke up in the morning and you felt like hell? You felt like, what the hell did I do that for? You knew in your heart that you didn't really love him, but maybe you had a little bit too much to drink, and you thought, oh, what the heck? And then you wake up and you feel horrible. You feel so used and trashy. And like I said, men are smart. Why do you think men love to go to bars? Those kind of men, why do you think they like to hang out at bars? Because there are women there who are drinking, and drinking weakens your defenses. So a man who's looking for a woman is not, who wants a real man who's looking for a real relationship for life, someone to love and cherish for life. He's not going to be going to a bar to look for that woman. He will not. He's going to be finding her in other ways, whether it be if they go to church, or they join groups of some sort, or just happenstance, serendipity, kismet, somebody meets and it just happens. He's not going to be in a bar. Men who are in bars, I won't say each and every one of them, because of course there are some guys who go there just to have a drink, what have you. But single men who hang out at bars, the majority of them, they're there for a reason. Oh yeah, all the ladies are drunk. Oh yeah, I can get her home tonight. And how disgusting is that to know that you let somebody do that, okay? And most women are guilty of that at some point in their life. Um, Not all, of course. As always, it can't be all, but a big majority of us have done that. You think, oh, well, what the heck? And then you feel like crap for it. You feel like absolute crap for it. And ladies and girls, I'm going to say, I don't care how old fashioned it may sound, but if you are looking for, again, I'll repeat it, this is not for women who are happy having sex with any and everybody and being alone and ending up wherever, with whoever. This is for only these females out there. And if this applies to males too, there are women who use men too. This is only for those of you who really are sitting there thinking, I want to settle down. I want somebody to love somebody for the rest of my life and to love me. Okay, and this is a way that you weed out the losers. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's a fact. You will weed out the losers. Let's say you're 26 years old and you decide, okay, I want to get married, or I want to have a lifetime partner. And you're dating. And you tell a guy one night, say you're on your second date and you start talking, and you come right out and you say, I am looking for a lifetime relationship. And don't get me wrong, I'm not some desperate woman who, hey, I'm dating you now, I'm going to try to reel you in. I just want you to understand that I am looking for a lifetime partnership. I want marriage, if that's what you want. I want a partner to be with me till the day I die. Us be together till death do us part, even without the marriage certificate. That's what I'm looking for. And I need to know if you're on the same page. If he answers with, well, gee, I don't know, well, then you have your answer. If he answers with, yes, that's what I'm looking for, you have something to start with. And of course, if he says, well, no, man, I'm not ready for that, well, then what are you doing with this jerk? Get up and walk away from him. Don't even waste another 5 minutes talking to this guy, because you're only creating pain for yourself, and how foolish is that? Okay, you find the guys who are on the same page, and you have to be smart there too. Don't think because he says, yeah, I want a relationship, don't think that automatically means, oh, well, see this, ooh, excuse me, see this guy wants the same thing I do, so we can have sex. No, come on, ladies, use your head. He does have to prove himself to you. He has to prove that he truly wants a relationship by doing things for you and with you that show that's what he wants to build. The guy who goes grocery shopping with you, the guy who helps you with your kids if you're a single mom, the guy who comes to, if he comes to your place, he helps you with whatever you're doing. Say you're doing dishes and he pops up, he comes in and dries those dishes, or whatever the case may be. He shows you that he actually wants to have a lifestyle with you. Not, hey honey, I'm just here to pick you up for a date and go have a drink and dinner and then into the sack we go. No, a guy who really wants a relationship with you, he's going to do things to show you over time, I want to build this life with you. And if he can't do it without having sex, then that's not what he wants. He'll be lying to you if he tells you that's what he wants, but yet he's pushing you for sex. So, ladies, I think one of the best things that women can do for the feminist movement is to prove to men, no, you cannot just use me. No, I am not just somebody that you can say, oh, honey, I like you, and sweet talk me and get me into bed, and then 2, 3 weeks later, 2, 3 months later, you say, okay, I'm done with that one. And use your head about moving in together with a guy. You have to stop and think, does he really want this for life? You have to analyze it. Like I said, use the head here. Because he could con you. He could tell you he really loves you, get you to move in with him, and then what has he got? He's got sex whenever he wants it, he's got you available whenever he wants it, and then, oh, a month or two later, I got all I needed out of her, time for me to move on. You have to use your brains, ladies, and don't tell me you don't know. Of course, there are times when people get blindsided. They think everything's going great, and then the person walks out. Of course that happens. But that's a risk. You're always, it's always a gamble. When you get involved with somebody, you don't know what you're getting in for. But you do have to have the common sense to really analyze it. Watch what he's doing. Watch how he's treating you, what he does with and for you, to see where his intentions are going. And you know as well as I do that if you got some bum who comes over, plops on your couch and starts drinking beer and booze and hangs out for the night, yeah, yeah, and then throws you into bed with him, what the hell do you have there but a loser? Now, if you have a guy who comes over and says, hey, let me make dinner for you. I want to make dinner for you tonight. That's wonderful. Let me help you with dinner. Um, hey, what did you want to do tonight, honey? That sort of thing. He starts showing that he cares about you and what you like and what you want to do, what makes you happy. That's something to work on, girls, ladies. It really is. But how many of you have had a guy who says he's coming over, and then he comes over, he drinks, and gets you into bed? Oh, wow, don't you feel special, right? Don't you just feel so loved, huh? Love just beating from the heart after a wonderful night like that. No, ladies, and you young girls out there, you really need to stop and think. You don't want to be used. You don't want to end up pregnant. You don't want to end up with STDs. Some of them you don't get rid of. Warts, herpes, AIDS. You don't get rid of them. Is that what you want to risk for a roll in the bed there? Because some guy says, oh, baby, I love you. Well, you learn some damn self-control. That's all there is to it. When I got married when I was 18, I was a virgin. And I was glad I was. I saw girls in high school who were pregnant, who had babies, who, they were completely devastated because they were dumped, after being with this guy. I was not going to be part of that. And after being divorced, we all go through our little stages after a divorce. Well, 6 years ago, I decided that is it. I am done. it's just not going to happen. Okay, guys, I am not going to let some guy think, well, I took her to dinner, I bought her a pretty present, you know, I've shown her, gee, I just really like her, so I know I can get her into bed. No, there will not be any of that happening in my life, because I'm going to make a man understand, no, I'm sorry, I'm looking for a lifetime commitment. And any man who walks away from me after I tell him that, I'm going to say, thank you, universe, you just spared me a hell of a lot of pain. Because a guy who truly wants that, he won't walk away, girls. And you have to stop and think. It is not old-fashioned. Anybody, any guy, any girlfriend, any friend of yours or guy who tells you, "Oh, that's so old-fashioned. That's so outdated." Well, all they're trying to do is get you into bed, okay? Or tell you that it's okay, that it's to go and get into bed with somebody. It's not. It is not okay to just have sex. And I don't care if somebody says that sounds old-fashioned. Well, I'll tell you what. If what you're doing and you're sitting there, let's say you're watching this video and you're heartbroken because you were dating this guy and you thought he loved you, well, he had sex with you every day all the time, and then he just decides to dump you. Well, how well did that work for you? How's that going for you? Seriously, huh? It's not. You need to make a commitment, and of course, making a commitment, it doesn't mean you're going to be together forever. That's obvious with divorce and breakups all over the place. But you'll also, again, feel better about yourself knowing that you decided, I am not going to let this man use me until we are in a solid commitment. Whether it be that engagement ring, preferably till you get married, if you're going to get married, or if you decide you don't want to get married, but you do want to have that one partner for life, you decide to move in together. You start talking about it, and you're talking to each other, telling each other how much you love each other, and you do want to spend the rest of your lives together. You don't get together until you are living together, at least, okay? And and like I said, that doesn't mean a month after you're dating. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't relationships that, it's love at first sight and it lasts forever. Of course that has happened. Um, it happens a lot. I mean, my own mother, got engaged 3 months after she met my father. They got married 6 months after they met. They were married 61 years until my father died. So I'm not going to say it can't happen quickly, but in today's world, I think it's a little different. People aren't valuing people very much anymore because women do not value themselves. They're not holding themselves up on this high pedestal to say, sorry, you can't use me, pal. I am not here for you to just think you can use me. I am not going to be used. That's not there anymore. Now, because of the feminist movement in that direction, I should say, the sexual revolution, it backfired, ladies. I'm sorry, but it backfired. And I'm not trying to tell you this to make you feel bad about yourselves if you have led this life where you have made those mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's whether or not you're going to learn from them.